Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare two laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Radical Racing Challenge. This week we are visiting the iconic and the ultimate driving experience, Suzuka International Racing Course. In the commentary booth with me, I've got the wonderful Simvets Patrick. I'm, of course, Johan Karinas, and then working the production booth for us, the equally amazing Samuli Kumo. So yeah, welcome to us with us this evening, and we've got some wonderful baby prototype action for you. Suzuka, one of the longer circuits that we're visiting during the season. I think Spa is definitely longer than this one. So expect times to be probably close around the 2-minute mark. It's going to be interesting to see what these drivers can do with these machines going around some of these high-speed corners. And Sam, just from your perspective, what do you think, what can we expect from the track and the drivers that we have tonight?
Well, what we can expect from this track is very good things, because I always like coming here because I can start arguing that this track is the best track in the world, because it is the best track in the world. It is perfection. It is absolutely faultless, and anyone on the YouTube who's is listening along, please debate me on this one if you so wish, or agree. I would appreciate if you concur as well, because yeah, this place is incredible. It's got every type of corner. The S's are incredible. 130R is great. the straights enable overtaking, and it should be really good in this car as it is in every single car as well. So it should be lots of fun for these drivers. It won't necessarily be a whole lot of fun for us because it's getting dark, unfortunately, and anyone who's listened to Apex Racing TV in the past knows we despise the night races because it makes it very tricky for us to see anything, especially around this Suzuka circuit, Johan, because there's not really many floodlights. There's a couple, but there really won't be a lot of illumination around this track compared to, say, Daytona or even a Sebring.
Yeah, it's a bit odd that we don't have that many floodlights since, I mean, I've seen quite a bit of endurance racing happening at Suzuka, but it might also be that they just assume the cars normally have lights and that's what they use for it. But it is a bit of a pity that we're going to rely on the car's lights a bit more. I am looking forward to seeing the cars around here, however. Just the high-speed corners do suit these cars quite well. And you've also got some very, very hard stopping corners. I think the first corner is one of the more fun ones, as it tightens towards the end, so it's going to be chaotic in turn one, lap one. And then after that, of course, once you go into the dingo corner, you go underneath the bridge. That has been a bit of a tricky corner for a lot of drivers. Easy to get it off track and possibly even cutting the corner a bit too much, unsettling your car in that area, and then maybe hitting the side of the bridge or some kind of barrier. And then after that, there's a wonderful hairpin that sets you up for the spoon curve and the backstretch. So that's also going to be very important for drivers to get correct.
Yeah, definitely. There's plenty of challenges around this place. I appreciate Sam Kume has put up Suzuka good, and I know which way I'm voting that. Well, 100% excellent work, everyone. It is a very good track. So yes, thanks, thanks Sam for putting that one up. Also, BFG House saying that Nürburgring is better than everything. I'll accept that one. That's I mean, I don't agree with it, but that's a valid opinion at least. I think Nürburgring is quite a track. The drivers are currently in their second lap times. Oh, there goes Chachashvili, who of course was raced in the iRacing Israel League a lot in the past. So you could see him trying his hand at the Radical SRA, one of the most successful drivers, I think, in that iRacing Israel League. We've got Alfredo Malo at the top, but the second lap times is always faster than the first one, so this is really where it will matter. And around a long cycle like this, expect to see upwards of 5, honestly, close to probably up to a second improvements for most drivers on this second lap. For the guys out there, Studnicka is probably going to be the first one across the line. Also, Medema is very far round the track. And also Malay and Sites coming to the end of their lap times at the moment. Also got Thurman, Kyrkopoulos, Montreso, and Kundaliz and Rodriguez still to put in a time. Some improvements coming in now. Studnicka's taken a few pole positions already this season. He goes top. I don't think that'll be good enough though. Only 2/10 clear of the rest. Malay now crosses line. He goes faster. Sites improves as well, but Malay goes to the top. Chachashvili, I think we saw him go off the circuit, so I doubt this is going to be even an eligible lap time for Ruben. You can see he's not pushing to the line bits and moves up into 6th position there. So Studnicka just 2/10 of a second short. And good to see a new driver out there, Alfredo Malo, Johan, a Joe who I do not recognise, I must say. Maybe Johan just disappearing for a moment there. But yeah, of course, we're just in the final few moments of qualifying at the moment, and pretty much once the drivers get their 2 laps in, it is pretty much it. So I think it is just this map as known improves. It is just Lucas Montresor, who is not a driver who we have seen too much in the past, but he's getting some airtime straight away. And also, I don't know if we could maybe see his eyes, Lucas's eyes, because I don't know if maybe one of the cameras syncs up, because we can have the clear visors, and so you can see into the haunting helmets of these drivers. I'm not sure if there's actually one looking back at the judge. Oh, there you go. There you go. There he is. Absolute dead eyes. And yeah, try to get to sleep tonight now, because that is terrifying. He's across the line, and well, that time was frightfully slow. It wasn't actually that bad. It was a 57.555 for Montresor. But that is 4.5 seconds off the pace, so hopefully we see the 21 improve as the session goes on. As I was kind of expecting the session to tick over straight away. Everyone has done their 2 laps, and so we'll just leave these 5 seconds to go before we get into the race tonight. Should be about 25 minutes in length, as these events usually are, albeit maybe a little bit shorter because the average speed around the Suzuka circuit is so high in comparison to some of the others that we visit. So there's the grid then. Alfredo Malo at the top. Greg Seitz, car number 1 in 2nd place. He's been in great form recently. Then it's Marek Studnicka, John Aldridge, Dylan Freckleton, Tommy Witzens, Ruven Chachashvili, Mick Thurman, Aldous Putiklis, Gabriel de Rold, Filippo Menoni, and Medema in 12th position. And then it's Bryce Rodriguez, Yossi Gabai, Alex Hermida, Dennis Kyrkopoulos, Fabio Berchtold, Arturas Condelis. Come on, Arturas, what's with the qualifying? He's such a quick driver, but he's not good at qualifying. Johannes Hestman is in 19th. Then it's Jakob Colin, Robert Woodward. Watch out for him, he's starting quite far back as well. Some top drivers near the back of this one. And then Lucas Montresor down in 22nd place. And I see there's an accent on the E. So do let me know if I am getting that wrong. Apparently, 10 votes for is Suzuka good, and 2 people had the nerve to say that's not a good circuit. Clearly that's just one person voting on multiple accounts, because there can't possibly be 2 people out there who don't like Suzuka, but it's absolutely disgraceful. Johan, I hope that wasn't yourself who voted that way.
Yeah, so I'm back with us, and we are looking at Greg Seitz' 2nd row on the grid. So just waiting for Malo to grid, and he is back onto the grid, so ready to get started here, and expecting a bit of chaos into turn 1. So all cars ready to go, lights on the cars, just waiting for the lights from the race director. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights are out, and we are racing. And good start for all involved in the front. So you can see there's Studnicka looking for a gap on the inside. Is he going to get it? Greg Seitz takes the inside line, and that is going to be side by side with Malo into the first corner. Malo has to relinquish the line, and that sides up into first in the first corner of the lap. That's very, very well done for him. But further back, and battles going on all the way. Witt is dropping down the order. He spun off there into the S's, unfortunately for him. And onwards we go. So Putiklis smack bang where he started in 10th position, as he just loses his position as we swap to him, unfortunately. Ooh, and there is contact. That is Medema and Putiklis out into the wall. That's going to be damage to their cars and possibly them out of the race. Bit of a rough start there, Sam, what do you think?
Yeah, and we also had Kyrkopoulos who had to take evasive action of one of the other drivers who went off the circuit. And then, as we always see, Dunlop curve, very common to have a car slow up, and that was the result of that one. As Kundal is making up some positions, up into 11th place. He's up 7 places so far from his start, so he managed to get through it all cleanly and ahead of Gabai already. And yeah, you kind of got it right when at the start, when you said how pretty much everyone from the start got good starts. It was very impressive, and particularly important around a very long run to time one around this circuit. But just seemed like Seitz maybe controlled the wheel spin slightly better than Malay and was able to get ahead. But you can see he is not getting away at the moment, and whilst the draft in these cars isn't too big, it will help him stay close. At the top, really the top 6 all in a line at the moment, albeit all just running a little bit wide through the Castillo triangle, and that will set him a little bit far off the podium sitters.
I'm thinking about the start and just Greg getting the better line on the inside. Manoni looking very deep on the inside here. Sorry, kind of interrupting myself there, but I think it was was it? I'm not exactly sure which Formula One year it was, where we had Senna and the professor. I keep forgetting his real name.
Prost.
Prost, yeah.
1990, I think you're thinking, where yeah, Senna went up the inside at turn 1 and they both crashed.
Yeah, but also it was more of the start of the race where Prost actually got a favourable line after they changed the grid sides when Senna actually got the pole in the race. But yeah, just showing that there's a very powerful inside line for the start there. Freckleton under pressure here as he gets overtaken, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce this driver's name at speed, but car number 3.
Ooh, into the wall goes De Rol, and Kundelis was involved in that as well, so they have come together. I think De Rol lost a couple of places just short before that, so I think maybe got a poor exit from the Degners as Chashashvili makes that move. He's gone wide, and this is dropping them off the rest of the pack. Now he can run wide there, just pick up the 1x and then sort of open up the second part of Spoon Curve, and that's what he's done. But you can see now he's 1.5 seconds off the back of Aldridge. McTherman is right with these drivers. Manoni as well, fairly close. A move into 130R is not smart, Dylan, and he thinks better of it as you see Thurman or hear Thurman having to lift outside the throttle through 130R so deep in the draft, will be carrying a lot of speed and also picking up a lot of turbulent air as well. So around the final corner we head, and still Chashashvili cannot get away from the pursuing Freckleton. He's having to go the long way here. They are not bothered about who's in front of them and who's behind them. They are 100% battling one another. Freckleton getting his nose ahead, but he's got a lot longer to run. Way off the circuit goes Thurman, almost losing the rear end as he went all the way onto the dirt. And it looks like Cheshire is going to win out on this battle after all, because Freckleton's having to back out, and so it's Chashashvili up to 5th place, and now he really needs to try to break that draft before they get into Spoon Curve the next time round.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be under pressure in that lead up to Spoon, and especially on the exit, because you just put yourself at so much risk in that back stretch. Unfortunately, Birchtold, you can see him falling in behind Kundelis there as they're battling out here for 12th and 13th position. Woodward in the red car under pressure. Kundelis is just sitting on his rear there. 4 cars in a row and starting to catch up with a reader in front of them. So this could become a 5-car party in no time. Oh, well, it is already basically a 5-car party. And now on the run up to... Sorry, lost my place here. That is... No, I'm in the wrong part of the track. Apologies, that was the Dunlop curve. Are we really in Spoon already? I apologize, I only know this track from the inside of a GT3 car. It feels a bit different. But yeah, of course through Spoon and one of the more iconic parts of the circuit. Also 130R, as I learned the hard way, you do not brake there. That's flat out, especially for the prototype cars with their amounts of downforce.
Yeah, and really carrying some good speed there was Mallow, able to get Sights offline. Sights with a slightly compromised exit then from the Cassier triangle. Studnicka super close as well, and Aldridge with the fastest lap of the race. They're all getting closer right now. Cheshire is going to have to work hard to catch up to these guys. Sights hanging on ahead of Mallow still. Remember, those two change positions on the run to the or through turn 1 on the opening that they have not changed ever since. But it doesn't seem like Sights is, or it doesn't seem like track position is too valuable around this circuit, because Mallow is able to stay so close to the back of him, and I think an opportunity is going to be there for him soon, albeit he runs a little bit wide through Dunlop curve there, just lost a little bit of time. Chashashvili is now 2 seconds behind these guys and working very hard to try to close that gap, but that is going to be tricky unless they really start to battle a little bit more. Then we kind of got the next pack. Beckleton, I think, is going to lose another place to Manoni very soon. That gap going down to about 0.2 of a second. Oh, Manoni didn't have a very good exit from the Degners and having to go defensive against Mick Thurman now. So Manoni got ahead of, though. I'm not sure if we saw that one on camera, but Manoni up into 7th place. He's had a couple of good laps and up in the top 6 quite soon as well.
Yeah, Manoni is a bit of a new name to our usual gaggle of drivers that we've got in this race. So it's nice to see some fresh faces. The field of cars is a bit smaller this time around, so it's giving those new drivers a bit of an opportunity. Malo is also one of the names that you don't usually see up there, but he's definitely giving Sights a good run for his money. But here, Noni doing a superb job, and up in the inside of Spoon is Malo looking there. Sorry, no.
That's here.
I keep finding myself a few corners back. Manoni here under pressure from Thurman, as Thurman gets the pass, and that's Manoni dropping down the order. Not exactly sure what happened to him there. So
yeah,
just
is able to put the move on as well.
Yeah, it happened very quickly, just in the space of a few corners, but that's kind of how quickly things can change around here. I'm just going to take the slightly quieter moment, just thank one of our sponsors, so Virtual Racing School. You can use them to improve your on-track performance. They've got 50 plus data packs for both road and oval racing. They also give you setups, track guides, some data analysis software so you can compare your laps with those of the pros. And then they've got one-on-one coaching if you were to desire that. Back on track, and that's Birchhold. Not exactly sure if that was a spin out or some contact that was made there, but he's dropped down to 16th position.
Well, he might be down in 16th in the race, but I think he's first place when it comes to the profile pictures. I think I may have already complimented his profile picture before, but getting the bit of the background, just a very stylish man. Excellent stuff. Congratulations to him. And he also went off the circuit there, but that's very much a secondary thing, as Kundaliz is past Woodward. So Kundaliz had that off at the hairpin earlier on, but he didn't seem to pick up any damage from it, which is good from his perspective. He collided with Darold, if I recall correctly. Darold down in 19th place, and I believe the Argentinian did hit the wall, but so Kundaliz was all fine, and he is working his way back up the order. Stops 6 places in Kundaliz, which is remarkable considering that he has had an off so far. But they've got 2x2 through the Casio jungle. Big contact in the background. That was Rodriguez, and I believe it was Manoni making contact with him. Rodriguez may have significant damage after that one, may not be able to continue in the race. He gets back onto circuit, and that was just a slow up, I think, from the two ahead, as we got very close for the lead. Sights continues to hold on though, out in front.
Oh, nice little follow there through the snake by Marlo, but it seems like Regs has this under control at the moment. If you look at the gaps between the two drivers, that's 2 tenths between Sights and Marlo, and then basically 3 tenths between Marlo and Stanika. So Marlo's kind of got his attention divided at the moment. And that looks like a bit of a slower exit for Sights as they go through Denger underneath the bridge, and we've got a heavy braking zone of the hairpin up ahead. So Sights really needs to keep his cool here up on the inside. You can see the wider line that Marlo is taking, preparing for that faster exit. But no mistake from Sights, and he's going to have to tuck in behind. Now, for the first time, I'll have this correct. We're going to go into Spoon as we go through 200R, and now we've got Spoon here. Nice. It almost feels like it widens, but then tightens back up on the exit of the corner, so you really need to nail those those two apexes. Sights still nice, a firm little 2 tenths gap between himself and Marlo. So Marlo now slightly closing, but it's 130R. He's not going to find an opportunity. Although here, just looking at the inside, I think Sights slightly sweating from that. You can just see right on the rear wing as Marlo follows nice close behind. And now through the Casio triangle we go. Sights a bit deep on that first corner, and he's definitely lost out a bit. Marlo with a potential run down the main straight.
I mean, he was so close through all of that, wasn't he? He looks really confident, does Malo. But Sights heading all the way to the pit wall, no way past. This is sort of a carbon copy of what we see on the previous laps, but Malo is slightly more alongside this time. Sights still with his nose ahead. Malo now moves ahead, and he moves into the lead. So Malo, for the first time since about 100 meters after the start finished, or his grid stall, he is up into the lead. But I think the draft looks quite strong, and Sights might have opportunities later on in the event. He certainly wasn't too desperate to to hang on to that race lead. And you can see how Chachashvili has done an awesome job to catch up to these guys. Whilst they've been fighting, Chachashvili actually caught by about 0.8 of a second to this pack. So we've got a lead pack of 5 now, and then that big gap to Freckleton, Thurman and Manoni, who seems to have got away without too much damage after that contact earlier on. There was also an instant for Hamida on that last lap. You may have seen him drop down the order. Alex back to the pits. I think he had a crash at the Degners, so unfortunately down in 21st place, as we will get a replay of it. Awesome. So it was at the Degners then. Just saw this one on the timing tower. Ran a bit wide. That's a super common mistake. In fact, actually, it's on the exit. Oh, no, it was... I was wrong many times there. So was that... oh, it was Goodbye. So Goodbye spun in front of him, and Hamida had nowhere to go. Unfortunately, picked up a lot of damage.
I nearly misheard that name. I was wondering, which drive are you currently talking about? And Thurman almost sending it into 130R. Right on the rear there of Freckleton, battling it out. And Manoni just trying to see if he can pick up pieces if there's a bit of contact between the drivers. Just taking another moment to thank one of our sponsors. Just wait for that first turn to happen. It looks a bit interesting for Freckleton and Thurman. Freckleton taking the inside line. He's just done a superb job of it, keeping his position, so they're going to be busy through Snack. So yeah, taking a quick moment just to thank SDK Gaming. You can use them to add a virtual live HUD to iRacing, show timing towers as we currently are. You use it for embedded relative boxes, minimaps, fuel calculators, and a few other things. You can also use it to stream to Twitch with the most complete overlay on iRacing, broadcast your leagues and your series. The SDK Gaming syncs your commentary team's cameras so that they can focus on the driving, and then your broadcaster can focus on the overlay. You also use it to adjust your team strategy on the fly with the most accurate live timing on iRacing. And Freckleton and Thurman still at it, 8 laps into the race. It's just absolutely flown by, Sam.
Yeah, it sure has. Yeah, such a high average speed around this circuit that, yeah, we should be done a couple of minutes earlier than normal. But for sure it will be close all the way to the finish. As Mallow has been able to get up to 6 since this the closest bats, I think, out on circuit at the moment. You can see the damage on the back of Freckleton's car. Now, that isn't debilitating, as wow. There was not much showing out there from Make. Freckleton was fairly consistent. Aldridge getting ahead of Studnicka further up into third place. Let's see if Thurman can get this one done, though. He just knows he needs to get his rival offline, but Freckleton knows that there's no threat of the outside move there. So he was just able to stop it on the apex and then get a good exit. Further up, Chachashvili also gained past Studnicka, so Studnicka was looking excellent earlier on. But he is at threat of losing a couple of places in a couple of corners. Studnicka, though, holding on. He had the inside line, but they need to make sure they don't get too obsessed with one another. They need to keep up with the guys ahead. Freckleton able to stay ahead of Thurman as well. He is defending excellently. Is the car number 15 at the moment to hold on to that place, but they have got Condelis and Woodward catching up to that pack, so they may need to look forwards in the future as well. On that last lap, by the way, Sight 1/100th of a second faster than Mallow, so it's really maintaining about that 5 to 10th of a second. Does seem like, as we see Aldridge going a little bit wide, seems like Mallow's got slightly more pace, I think Johan had, but that jump just keeping Sight's in range.
Yeah, it's Sight seems to have been struggling a little bit with the exit out of Casio Triangle and into the last curve, and it's really hurt him in the first corner. And that is Freckleton side by side with Thurman. Thurman taking the inside, and he is going to get past, getting the inside line. Still side by side, though. This is going to go all the way into Spoon, and that is Thurman still ahead. So Freckleton falling behind slightly. And Manoni now just sitting right on the rear there, not exactly sure what Freckleton did. They got that poor of an exit. All the drivers kind of leaning towards the left side of the circuit, trying to cut that driving distance down a bit further. But now you can see Thurman slightly defensive, but he knows there's not going to be a move from behind him. But the cars are so close together, you can almost throw a blanket over them. Freckleton just looking towards the outside, seeing if he can push a bit of a bad exit from Turman. Not
Oh
going to
no,
get that.
Kundalis. He's cut the chicane just as he caught up to them. And he's gone straight on at the chicane. A couple of bad mistakes from Arturo so far in this race. As is there going to be a change? Freckleton very close to the back of Thurman again. No, Thurman stays ahead.
Yeah, it's just not been Kundelis this evening. You had that's off earlier now with the Casio triangle where he's just skipped a part of it. I think he's probably going to have this one as a drop round and just regroup after that and see what he can do the next week around.
Well, we know who to blame because Sergey Grabun, congratulations, Sergey, you've absolutely jinxed Kundalis right there. Kundalis has a chance at P5 if these guys in front continue to fight. Well, he needed to stay on circuit, did Arturus, in order to take P5 because it is looking unlikely now. He is, well, yeah, honestly, P5 was never on the cards, but P6, as Sergey acknowledges his curse right there. Just, yeah, that's a good thing there. You can see him there in 10th position, still remarkably up 8 places. Woodward, by the way, up 12 places, highest gain of anyone. He's pretty much gone through half the grid. Excellent work from him. As we see Chachashvili going for the opportune time, trying to overtake Studnicka. This one has taken a while for him, and we haven't seen many moves at 130R so far tonight. He's going to surely have to go off the circuit if he's going to make this one. He happily goes off the circuit, goes immense speed, and, well, it's all legal. He picks up the 1x, but maybe he's gained an advantage there, but iRacing controls the track limits, and so Chachashvili took advantage of that. He's up into 4th position, and that should be a big enough gap heading into turn 1 to hold on to that place, and he might even be able to catch up to Aldridge by the end of this one because the Israeli driver has looked very quick so far tonight.
Yeah, I think in the racing or the radical racing circle that would be a bit frowned upon. Manoni in a nice battle here with Freckleton. And Freckleton on the inside, he's going to stay ahead. Manoni right on the rear, but you can see that battered car of Freckleton just looking a bit worse for wear. Freckleton making it work through Dunlop curve and just, sorry, not Dunlop curve, but just staying ahead. And it's been a bit of a battle for him. He's dropped back all the way. You can see Turman off into the distance, just in front of the camera there. You can see his lights. And that's the driver that Freckleton was furiously fighting with, but he's now having to defend for all that he's worth. Manoni smelling the opportunity, trying to see if there's another mistake from his opponent and trying to pick up the pieces from there. But it was a bit of a rough night for Freckleton as well. Could have gone a little bit better than, or he might have hoped for something a little bit better. But yeah, for now he's fighting for 7th position as they go into Spoon, nice and hard on the brakes, hitting that first apex, just barely kissing it. And now on exit, Noni looking like he had one monstrous drive out of the corner. He had to slow down to avoid hitting Freckleton there. And unfortunately, not enough of us, enough speed to pull alongside, so he's going to be behind him for 150R.
Yeah, and he way past at the Casio triangle, flashing the lights, which could put a driver off in this these conditions. Look at the drivers as well catching up. Freckleton was very slow through that chicane. He missed the second apex, which wasn't deliberate, but it actually really helped him because it slowed Manoni up. He's now in the clutches of Woodward. Woodward to the outside. Still Manoni with the draft though from Freckleton, so I think he should be safe into turn 1, and he is. Kundalis, or maybe Kundalis could still get P7 after all out of this one because he is back once again. And then also just at the back of this one, Goodbye and Hesterman has been really catching up to these guys a lot, about a second and a half faster than these guys was Hesterman on that last lap. So nice train of 5 cars going through on this lap 12 of the race. Final shout out by the way to Apex Racing Academy, another one of our sponsors for this broadcast. Apex Racing Academy with 29 data packs, those data packs including setups, track guides, integrated with VRS, as we've got Chachashvili round. Oh, the car number 3 had worked so hard to get up into 4th position, but he has made a mistake, just the loss of 1 position. But he will be disappointed with that, as we've got Freckleton now off the circuit. Oh no, he defended miraculously well for so long, Freckleton. And I'd love to know what exactly has happened to him. And also Rodriguez has had a problem, so lots of things happening in these closing stages. Here it was for Freckleton, and this was Manoni behind him. Was it a tap?
It could possibly be. You can see Manoni. Ooh, yes, that's netcode. It almost looked like that he didn't touch, so I think that's a bit... It's been worsened by the netcode. There would have been contact, but I mean, that looked a bit harder than the shove that we saw between them. So Manoni now with having to defend from Woodward. Woodward slightly alongside him, and just not getting the overlap that he wanted. I just want to point something out for all of the drivers, and especially those that get onto broadcasts quite a few times. If you look at Kundelis' car, do follow his example and make yourself very noticeable, because that's going to make you stand out and make you very memorable for the commentators, and a lot easier to reference to when you're racing out there. So if you want to stand out a bit more and make yourself noticed, follow in this man's shoes. But yeah, we're down to the last lap, and Sam, take us away.
Yeah, I mean, I've never agreed with something more in my life. So thanks for that one. Kundelis right on the tail of Woodward, and Woodward of course trying to get past Manoni, but he was able to pull away during the Casio triangle. And out of the loop, by the way, Mallow still absolutely fine. This is the real close battle. Freckleton with another issue. It's down to 14th. Oh man, well at least he brought us a lot of entertainment in this race. Can Kundelis get past into the hairpin? Well, the line is open for him, but it's so tricky to do. You don't know what line the opponent is going to take. They might try to take an early apex, you just don't know. Kundelis playing the side of caution there, as he has to dip into the draft once again. Seems like the two behind of Goodbye and Hessman aren't going to get involved in this one. Here comes Kundelis into Spoon Corner, backs out of it. His rival goes wide, and up the inside again goes to number 5. He is through up into 8th place, as we're about to see our race leader approach the line.
Yeah, so Mallow looking very comfortable for the finish, and that was just a very clean move from Kundelis, kind of forcing the mistake from his opponent, looking like it was going to take the inside line and then resuming a bit of a wider racing line. So superb racing from him. Side second, Aldridge third, and Suzuka fourth. So 4 front runners doing superbly well. Kundelis looking good in the position in front of Woodward. Woodward possibly under pressure here, as Gabay gets a bit of a better exit out of the Casio triangle. They're gonna pull alongside, and that is Woodward slightly, no, sorry, that was lap time, but slightly ahead of Gabay. Then we've got Heston and Medima right at the end, getting the move on the roll. The roll's behind him, spinning the car out. He's going to be under pressure for the last few corners. Is he going to stay ahead of Rodriguez? Rodriguez crumbles under the pressure. Oh, shame.
Oh, don't go in the pits. Don't go in the pits. No, he's gone to the pits. No, he's not in the pits. Sorry. That's why we don't race in the night. I can't see anything. There he is. He's in. It's all right.
That was such an unfortunate. That was such an unfortunate last corner for him.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel a bit bad for laughing, but we weren't laughing at the mistake. It's just that everyone seemed to be making mistakes right at the end there, so it's just quite comical. So sorry to Bryce for our chuckles, but no, not a bad performance. That's finishing 18th place. Hopefully we see Bryce and many other Americans as well. We don't usually see too many Americans, or United States of Americans at least, on these races usually. As there's the results, and Mallow took the race win. Johan.
Yeah, so sitting out up at the top, new name for us, Alfred Mallow, and then Greg Seitz in second position. Aldridge looking very solid there in third place, so it's nice to see him back on the podium. Stanika bringing up fourth, and then a bit of a gap between them and the rest of the field, as quite a few drivers having incidents during the race. Chachashvili taking fifth, Turman in sixth, Manoni in seventh, Kundelis with an 8th position. I just want to check again. So gaining 10 positions in the race, which was a bit busier than Kudelis would have wanted. Woodworth with 9th position, Gabay in 10th, just so close together. And then we've got Hesterman, Wittens, Colin, Freckleton, Birchtold, Medema nearly losing that 16th place to De Rold, who seemed to try to avoid contact there, so a bit of a spin out for him on the last turn. And then Rodriguez in 18th position. Behind them, Kirakopoulos, Montresor, Hermida, and Putiklis. Unfortunate collisions for them early in the race, so we'll see if it's a bit less incident prone for them next week. Fortunately,
Yes.
no commentators yet for us, Sam, but maybe we can have a bit of a look at next week's track that we've got for these drivers. What do you think?
Yes, as I have a look, next round is Hockenheimring and Baden-Württemberg, or whatever it's called. But Hockenheimring is the next one. It is not, and I know most people will be thinking now, oh wow, is it the Porsche Center? No, it's not that miraculous piece of tarmac with the 5 different layouts. It is the Grand Prix circuit, so might be first time the Radicals have visited there. Probably done one race, I would have thought, but I don't recall off the top of my head at least. But that'll be a fun one, I imagine. Johan, I mean, that circuit is very much liked by a lot of guys, and honestly, I wasn't particularly excited about it actually when it came to the iRacing service or when it was announced. But I did a few laps around there, and it is a lot of fun. So yeah, will be a different one for the drivers to tackle in days' time.
Yeah, it's some of the corners are a little bit sharper than we're used to. That turn number 6, Spitzker. I'm just going to absolutely love to see what the cars are going to do into that corner. You've got these. I mean, the SR8 is a lot more nimble than your usual car, and especially with that fast acceleration that you get out of the corners. It just makes for a very fun drive on your own. Smack them in close proximity to one another, and you've just got amazing races left, right, and center. They're a bit more sensitive. Last night we had the TCR races, and it's a bit more likely that you see cars smacking each other around the corners. But to me, that's kind of the beauty of high downforce racing. It's a lot more on edge, and there's a lot more drama when you've got drivers attacking one another. Sam, we've got one of our usuals, Greg. I know you're a lot better than me with the interviews, so I'm going to give him over in your hands. And if we have another driver, I'd be definitely, I'll enjoy having an interview.
I will drag up Mr. Seitz, who joins us in the commentary box now. Congratulations, Greg, qualified second, finished second. Alfredo just looks very quick tonight. Have you been able to race him elsewhere this week?
This is the first race I had with him this week. I didn't as fast because I saw his previous lap time in the race before, which I didn't do. But I knew really my only chance in the race was to get the jump at the start and try to control things as long as I could, which is what I did. But he still eventually got past me.
Yeah, it was a really tight battle between you two. Seemed like he was just able to stay super close. Would you say sort of the draft effect outweighed the turbulent air today? Because he, I mean, you know better than anyone else, he seemed to be absolutely glued to your tail for about 0.7 of a second. It really didn't seem like the turbulence was costing him too much.
Yeah, he seems really good, especially probably my weakest point. It's not terribly bad, but my weak point was coming out of the final chicane. Just not a good place to not be super fast, obviously, and he was super fast there. I think the rest of the track I was pretty close to him, so yeah, that was kind of the vulnerable point. I knew it was hitting the inside every time I came through there.
Yes, and next week we have got Hockenheim coming up. Now, if I recall correctly, and I might be wrong on this one, I don't think we've visited that track in the official series. Feel free to correct me on that one. But yeah, do you have any experience with that car track combo?
Not in this car, and yeah, I've only been reviewing this car since last season, so I don't know if I did it before then or not. But yeah, I've done it in Pro before. I think it's a night race, totally start, so it's going to be interesting.
Absolutely. Well, before we say goodbye, Greg, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to thank you guys for the broadcast. Thank the community and the usual cast of cohorts that racing helped me.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks for coming up to the commentary box, and best of luck next week.
Yeah, I just want to get in there and just big congrats stuff. Did a great job.
Greg Seitz there, finishing in second position tonight, and hopefully we get some other drivers up with us once again. Anyone who's watching along, any driver who usually races in the Radical series or any of our series on Apex Racing TV, come have a chat with us, because when I race, and I am a BSR Radical Winter Series champion. Let's not forget that. But usually I finish like 20th or something, and I still have a chat, and the commentators don't even like me, and yet I still come up in the interview waiting area. They're polite about it. They drag me up resistingly, and have a chat with them. So basically, come have a chat with us, even if you finish last, even if you only did half the race. We do appreciate to get your insights, and we get to know the drivers a little bit better as well. Just of course Hockenheim next week, Johan, and then after that's going to be Alton Park, I believe, and then Barber, and then Nordschleife. So I think probably 2 club circuits in that, a GP circuit, and then also I don't even know what you classified the Nürburgring as.
I know one of the drivers said the Nürburgring is one of the best circuits out there. I don't see the Nürburgring as a racing circuit. It's more like a proving ground. It's something else entirely, and you do need to treat it as such. Normally with the corners around the track, you can either count them by the corners, or you've got a few landmarks on the track. On the Nürburgring, it's just a case of you need to count the kilometers and see, okay, we're at the 6 kilometer mark. I've got one big chicane coming up that I shouldn't miss. So it's a bit more tricky to race on that track in terms of memorizing the circuit, memorizing the corners, and knowing when you can really push the car and when you need to be careful of said chicane, or if you've got the carousels. I always look forward to that track, but one of the tracks that really stands out to me at the moment is Barber Motorsports Park. It's not one that the drivers are quite used to, and to me that's going to make for one of the more interesting weeks in terms of the racing.
Yeah, I really like that. Well, I like visiting that circuit occasionally. It's not one of my favorites to drive, honestly, because the corners are just so long, a bit like, the final couple of corners at Mid-Ohio. I mean, when you got such long corners, it's a bit of a pain, but the elevation change is really cool, and so a visit there once in a while is really cool. So yeah, should be a good run in for the rest of the season. Of course, all the races will be shown on Apex Racing TV, but I think that pretty much wraps us up, Johan.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate that we didn't have another driver. I mean, Marlo just comes in, gets a maiden victory, and then doesn't say any words. I mean, that's a bit of an odd thing to do, but yeah. So looking at our racing for later during the weekend and the week. So for tomorrow, we've got the Apex Racing Academy, or just ARA F3 VRS Super Series. That's going to be at Donington. Then we've got Formula 3.5 same day at Watkins Glen. It's going to make for a very interesting race. Then on Sunday, we've got the Champion Motorsports iRacing Team Endurance, race number 2. Also on Sunday is going to be SRF Weekend Warriors. IGP Fun F3 VRS, which is sponsored by 3D Wrap. That's going to be round 8, also happening on the Sunday. So if you're really bored, that is the place to be. Another race, although that's going to be Monday for me, possibly Sunday if you're in the States. We're going to have the XSLR Off-Road Pro 4 series, so definitely check them out. Then we've got the ARL Mazda Cup at Okayama. That's going to be on the Monday. Tuesday is going to be Tyrac Road to Indy Esports Series at Road America. Also on the Tuesday, we're going to have Rick Classic Sprint Series. That's going to be at Barber Motorsports Park. So if you want to get a feel for the circuit and what cars do around there, this is MX or MX5s, but could still make for an interesting watch. Another race on the Tuesday is the Simultech Motorsports TCR Series, and that's going to be at Donington. Our old GT3 Pro Trophy, that will also happen on the Tuesday. Very busy evening. That will be at the Autodromo Nazionale Monza. Also, we've got the ARA Porsche Cup on the Wednesday. It's also Barber Sports Motorsport Park. Lots of races there. And then lastly, on the Thursday, it's Touring Car Britain at Knockhill Circuit. This time the right way around. Definitely going to be worth a watch. So lots of racing. If you want to follow us on the social media, of course, YouTube, but more of a video service, but kind of social media. So check us out on YouTube. We've got Facebook and Twitter. So just look for Apex Racing TV. You should be able to find us. Also on Instagram. And then from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick and Sabuli Kuma, thank you so much for your time this evening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting. And hope you have a lovely evening for the rest of the weekend.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers, including Peter Berryman, John Robertson, Brandon Trano, and IndyCar World Champion Alex Palou. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.